It was a tempestuous night in the small town of Abilene, Texas. Clouds thundered ominously overhead, casting a heavy shroud of darkness upon the sleepy town. Rain tapped against the window of my humble abode, a monotonous symphony of nature that lulled me into a state of unease. As a seasoned journalist, I had experienced and heard countless tales of horror and disbelief, but none were as visceral as the one I was about to encounter. A sudden knock echoed through my home, piercing the otherwise harmonious sound of the rain. It was a curious occurrence. The hour was late, and the storm outside fierce. Who could be out and about in such harsh conditions? Anxiety wormed its way into my heart as I opened the door, revealing two figures on the threshold. A pair of children, no older than 12, stood in the pouring rain. Their skin, pale as alabaster, appeared nearly luminescent against the shadowy backdrop. Their clothes, anachronistic and worn, clung to their petite forms. They stood in silence, heads bowed and faces hidden beneath their hair. "Can we come in?" one of them asked. His voice, though it belonged to a child, held an uncanny maturity that sent shivers dancing down my spine. A lump formed in my throat, an instinctive dread that defied my rational mind. Struggling to maintain composure, I peered closer. Then I saw them. Their eyes. An abyss of pure, unending blackness, devoid of the innocence typically found in a child's gaze. Their eyes were like two black pearls, hauntingly beautiful yet profoundly disturbing. I found myself frozen, entranced by the captivating yet terrifying sight before me. They insisted once again for entry. Their monotonous voices echoed within the confines of my mind, the underlying edge of desperation more palpable now. But there was something deeply wrong, an insidious undercurrent that screamed at me to shut the door, to deny their request. As my hand moved towards the door, I felt a chill wind swept through me, as though my very soul recoiled from the impending action. The world seemed to hold its breath as I summoned every shred of my courage and refused their plea. They lingered for a moment more, their black eyes boring into mine, an alien intelligence flickering within them. Then, they turned and disappeared into the tempest, leaving me alone with the pounding of my heart and the whispering rain. In the days that followed, the terror of that night refused to leave me. My mind was an unending reel of the encounter, their hypnotic eyes and eerie voices etched into my psyche. I learned later of a similar unrelated encounter in the far-off city of Portland, Oregon, a chilling affirmation of the reality of my experience. From that night onward, I realized that there are things in our world that defy explanation. I carry the memory of the black-eyed children with me, a dark memento of the unseen and the inexplicable. A chilling testament that sometimes the most terrifying monsters are not those that lurk in shadows, but those that knock on our doors in the midst of a stormy night.